Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, the van is behind me, so you've probably already guessed that I'm out on the road again. The plan this time is south of Spain for some much needed sunshine. Now, I am currently in the Dordogne. I didn't bother recording anything in the first part of the trip because I've done that on other videos. And also the weather wasn't great, so I just kept driving. So a very long day yesterday, rewarded by this little place. It's a tiny village, and down there in the valley, and it's a lovely view. It's a bit grey this morning. It was actually sunny last night. I was sitting with the van door open as it got dark, just listening to birds. There was no other sounds at all. It was wonderful. Anyway, lovely view down the valley, and about 5 miles down that away is the town of Thiviers, or Thiviers, depending how you want to pronounce it. And there's not much here, but that's absolutely fine because you've got a beautiful view, you've got a nice level park up, and then behind the van is a medieval church which we're going to go have a look at now, and a very small village with a bar which I think sells some groceries. It was shut by the time I went and looked. But incredibly peaceful place, really wonderful, the sort of hidden gems that still exist here in France, and a great place to spend a night in total silence, total peace. Anyway, let's go and look at the centre of the village. It is very small. So there's a town hall and the church that you could see from the back of the van, and on the right a very, very large farm building. These ones on the left here are, it's hard to date, but you should sort of say 1600s at the latest. And then the ones on the right with the peaked slate roof, a little bit later, maybe 1700s. But an old village, very quiet. Let's look in the church if we can. Nope, unfortunately, although you can get in, it's pitch black in there, so the camera couldn't pick anything up. So we'll go to rely on this lovely old wooden porch on its classical styled pillars, and a lovely hammered nail ironclad pair of doors. The church is obviously in use because there's modern heaters and a loudspeaker system inside. Anyway, that's it. So time to move on. Given the weather's a bit grey again, I will be heading down towards the Pyrenees as far as I can get today, so I can cross over into Spain tomorrow. Unfortunately, there are lots of strikes in France at the minute. It took me 2 hours to get out of Dunkirk because of a lorry blockade, and then going around Blois, they'd closed the route across the river, if anyone knows the town, with burning lorry tyres. So that took about another 45 minutes to get around that. And then to cap it all, lots of diesel stations, petrol stations are running out of fuel, and the ones that still have fuel have been limiting purchases to 30 litres. So I'm now going to try and find somewhere to fill up the van again, and if I manage that, I'll have enough, I think, to get me over the border. Anyway, onward and upward. Right. So I just continue driving through France because one, there is a looming fuel shortage due to all the strikes. So it wasn't worth hanging about basically, so I just kept driving, and it also rained all the time. But I popped over the border. I'm now just outside a small town near Jaca, and as you can see, lovely blue skies, barely a cloud in them. So this camper stop is €5, including electric. Very pleasant, very quiet. But I must head on now towards Madrid. I'm going to stay at a place, small town, about 40 miles away from Madrid, because tomorrow we've got something vehicle related to go to. The Mark II Golf Club of Zaragoza seems to be out on a run. Red GTI, unmarked, white, presumably another GTI. A later Golf 3, Mark III. Still to come. Later GTI. It's obviously a golf club of out for a run. Last one. Apologies for the wind noise, if there is any, I don't know yet. I think there might be, because it's slightly breezy up here. Anyway, down there at the bottom of the valley is a motorway, and I've come up to a small town called Medinaceli. Yeah, that's right. And it's not in any of my guidebooks, but it's typical of the sort of place you find in Spain, tucked away. It's a cracking little place, so I just thought I'd share it with you, because this is where I'm going to spend the night tonight, because it's the closest I can get to where I want to be tomorrow without actually staying in Madrid, which I want to avoid if at all possible. Anyway, so let's go and have a look. Now, the first thing you don't expect to find in small Spanish hilltop villages is a massive Roman triumphal arch, which dates back to the 1st century. There's no indication as to what it commemorated, which triumph particularly, but the situation, I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up. The main arch shines directly down the valley to where the motorway is, and then up another valley, so it's in a dominant position. Anyone from miles around is going to spot this, so clearly a statement of power and control from the Romans at this time. There appears to be the remains of a figure here as well, but so badly eroded that you can't tell. And the village itself, which we shall have a quick saunter around, is typical old stone buildings. It has been renovated to quite some degree, and an old church over in the corner, so we'll head that way. Right, I don't know how well this is going to show up because it's under glass and the sun is shining on it quite strongly. But underneath this house, and it goes directly underneath it, are the remains of a 1st century Roman mosaic. So this was obviously an important little town to the Romans, because this is high status flooring. There, that might show up a little bit better, I hope. The cherries are in full blossom at the moment. It's so nice to be somewhere warm. It's slightly breezy up here, as you can probably tell from the camera background, but still very mild compared to what I left behind in the UK. And this imposing building on the right is a monastery. No indication of age, but it looks pretty ancient, especially when you look at the window surrounds. And then inside, I'll just show you, not sure we're meant to, but I'll do it anyway. There's lots of these rural monasteries, with nuns anyway. They make cake, small cakes, and then at certain hours of the day you come inside and you ring the bell, and there's a rotary door, hatch for want of a better word, and you put your money in, it disappears, it goes round, and out come your cakes. And next to the monastery, which is here, is the attached chapel, church, and it says it's a convent chapel, so it is nuns, and the door seems to be open, so let's have a look. Right at the very top, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera, the Compostela saint, Matamoros, and he appears to be in the act of slaying. This is the air, just a corner of the car park. There's a few of us in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 of us, and it's only mid-afternoon, so I suspect by tonight it'll be even busier. Right, I've made it to where I wanted to be, the Alcalá de Henares, which is a suburb of Madrid now. It used to be a town of its own right, but now it's a suburb. And I've come to this old factory, which is a peculiar destination, but let's have a look and see what we can find inside. Because inside this factory is this lot. It is the recently opened Made in Spain Museum, with hundreds and hundreds of wonderful Spanish motorcycles. Now, I am going to do a separate video on this because there are so many and they are so wonderful. So, This is just a little taster. Keep your eye open for the actual video.